recently I was browsing through awards and I came across this cool site that had so many cool interactions. But there was this one animation that I really liked, and I wanted to show you guys how you can also replicate it for your projects. So now, if I keep scrolling down, you'd see that we have this cool services section wherein we have these big headings, and then when you reach the end of the section, this section sort of pins itself, and when you keep scrolling, the card sort of comes in from underneath, the background blurs, and then the background blurring happens as you keep scrolling, and then the card sort of rotates in and then settles at the center, sort of tilted. And then if you keep scrolling, there's going to be more cards that come in from the bottom and then basically settle at the center. So this looks really nice and really clean, and I wanted to create something similar. So I came across with a somewhat similar version of that. So here we have a simple standard intro section, and then when you keep scrolling, the card basically comes from underneath, rotates, and then settles at the center. So you can go on. There are like 5 cards, and then they sort of randomly rotate and then settle at the center. So this is what we're going to be building in this video. The source code as well as the live link along with the inspirational site is in the description, so you guys can go and check it out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on, because I bring in cool stuff like these every week. And yeah, make sure to share it with your fellow developer friends. And yeah, without a delay, let's get started and let's learn to build this. Here I am in my browser, wherein you can see that we have this intro section, and then if I start scrolling down, you can see that we have 5 cars that are basically stacked on top of each other. So for this video, since our core focus would be on learning how to add the animation and then have the cards basically stack on top of each other, so I already have made the intro as well as the base card component. And yeah, next.js projects basically tend to become very big, so it's also comfortable for me to basically have the components ready and then just explain you guys the core of the video. So in this case, the intro as well as the card components are already built. I'm just going to be quickly walking you through the entire setup and the different components. So this is my next.js project. So I'm in my cursor, and then so I have installed Linux, GSAP, and then GSAP React. And then if I were to show you the layout page, it's pretty standard. The only thing that we have here is I've changed the metadata, and then I've added this font family of sign. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And then I have added the smooth scroller, which is the Linux smooth scrolling component in here. Now I'll just show you how you can add that as well. Once you install Linux, all you have to do is, since this component is going to be using GSAP, so this needs to be a use client because it's going to be needing some hooks. So we have use effect, useref in here, and then all you do is you run a use effect within which you make this function that updates, that basically gets called by GSAP. For every second it basically keeps calling it, and then that's how you update your DOM as you scroll. And then this is the React Linux component from Linux itself. Now the entire code setup is already in their documentation page, and also in my previous videos as well, I've covered in depth how you can set up Linux. So it's nothing that's too complex or complicated. It's pretty standard. So you have Linux setup. Now even if you don't add Linux, it should be fine. The scroll triggering effect should work perfectly fine. So yeah, so this is the smooth scroller, and then we have the intro component, which has some gradient text, a heading, and then some subtext, and then a sort of scroll indicator animation, which is this one underneath. Now this is placed absolutely so that the text content can be centered, and then yeah, that's pretty much it for the intro section. And then for the card section, so the card section takes in a title, a children prop, which is for the subtext, and then it takes in number, tags, and then gradient colors, as well as class name. So what we have is, if I were to show you the component, so if I scroll down, this is the title, this is the children or the subtext, these are the tags, this is the number, and then the background basically is the gradient. Now I've also added a class name in case you want to add extra class. Now in this case, I'm going to be adding a card class to each of the individual cards just so that I can grab them in my use GSAP hook and then basically animate. So that's the basic setup that you need to get started with this. Now in your case, you might have a different design, which is totally fine. The core of it, or the basically the animation logic, is what we're going to be building next, and that's the important part of this entire video. So here, as you can see, we have a standard div. We've added a ref to it, root ref, and we still haven't done anything. We have a big object with 5 different cards, card data basically. Now if you see here, we have everything, but then we have also 2 extra stuff. We have a rotate from and then a rotate to value. Now what this means is, when each of the individual cards start animating, they're going to rotate from a different angle, and then when they settle, they would have their final rotate to a different value. So the rotate from is how they would come from, and then the rotate to is how their final rotating angle would be. So that's the rotate from and then rotate to values. And then here we have 2 variable with 400 and then stagger. This basically means that how far you want to add, or how much scroll height you want to add. So this is the scroll VH, and then this is the stagger, which is how delayed you want each of the individual cards to flow into the DOM. So that's pretty much it. So we still haven't really used it because we haven't really created our timeline animation, but once we do, we'll be using these as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We have the intro div wrapped in a HDVH div with a width taking the entire screen, I mean the entire parent, and then a section with no pointer events within which we're mapping through the object and then rendering each of the individual cards, which is pretty standard. Now to get the animation, first what we'll do is we'll first create the entire animation without the scroll trigger, because that way it's also easier for us to understand how the animation looks, and then we'll basically bind it with scroll trigger. So for that, what we'll do is, if you have seen in the final or in the intro as well, what happens is the intro section stays as is, and then the cards basically render on top of the intro section. So what we can do is we can add fixed positioning to the intro as well as to the section that contains the cards. That way, with a different z index, what we can do is we can have the intro section behind, and then we can render the cards on top of it. So what we'll do is we'll first wrap the intro section with a fixed div, fixed class with inset 0, and then a z index of 0, meaning they should be at the very last layer or so, and then basically at the very bottom. And then for the cards, we can give them an also fixed with inset 0. Now when we do that, what we'll see is, you'll see that now we don't have any place to scroll, and then all the cards are now stacked on top of each other, and then this is happening at the very intro section itself. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to add animations. So what we'll do is we'll first add data attributes. So the way we grab the section is, let's just call it or give it a data attribute of card deck. So we'll basically just call it data card deck. And then also, if you notice here, each card has a class name of card, which we're going to be using to grab onto. And then for each of the individual cards, now the cards also needs to be placed at the center. So they would have fixed positioning, top 50%, left 50%, and transform translate of negative 50% towards the x and then negative 50% towards the y. Now let me just remove this and just show you. So here, as you can see, all the cards are stacked on top of each other, layered basically, and then are at the center. Now initially when the animation starts, they should be invisible, meaning they should have opacity 0. So that's what we have here. And then I'll show you again, you'll see that it's gone. Now for the animation, we use GSAP. Now the scope of the entire animation is this root ref. So we just add the scope as the root ref, and then we check. If you don't have the root ref, just early return it. And then you also check if you have the cards deck. If you don't have, then just early return as well. Now we will also early return if you don't have any card. So you grab the card using the card class, and then if you don't find, you just early return it. And then we start our GSAP timeline. Now in this GSAP timeline, for now, we just leave it empty. And then what we do is first we loop through each of the individual cards. So we run a for each, and then we run over it for each of the individual cards. And then what we do is for each of the individual card, we set it in this item variable. And then what we do is for each of the individual cards, first we basically push it down towards the y. So what we do is we add a y%, which is 150% plus, based off the index, we multiply by 50. So if it's the first one, so it's gonna have 150%. If it's the second one, it's gonna have 200. If it's the third one, it's gonna have 250, and so on. So that way we add different height to the different cards. And then we set the initial rotate of the card as this. Now the initial opacity when you set these up should be 1. Since when the animation fires off, when the page loads, we have the card not getting rendered. If you don't have this opacity as 0, what would happen is when you first load the page, the cards would flash, and then only then the GSAP would take in, and then GSAP would basically hide the cards. So initially what happens is the CSS would load, and then only after then the GSAP and then all the logic basically flows in. So we'll first be hiding the component using CSS so that when you refresh the page, accidentally you don't flash out the cards. And then what we'll do is when we set the initial state of the cards, we'll again bring it to have the opacity of 1. Now, even though this has opacity of 1, the cards won't be visible. The reason for that is because they would be pushed down by y%. So at the intro section or the intro screen, they won't be visible anyways. The next thing is initially we want the cards to be bigger in size, so we have them scaled up a bit. And then what we do is we add a to animation. So this was the initial setting of each individual card. And then right after that, we add an animation. Now the animation is a timeline base. So we have tl.to. And then what we do is we grab the card, we basically move it to minus 50% of the y%, because this needs to be placed center. So if you want it to be placed at the center, the y needs to be minus 50%. The rotate value would be the final value, which is rotate.to. You scale it down to 0.9, add this duration, no ease, and let's save and let's see. Now even though I haven't refreshed, you can see the animation happening, but it's not smooth. So we want staggering effect for each of the individual cards. So for that, we can grab onto the index and then just multiply it with the stagger value that we have defined here. And when I save, let's refresh. This looks way better. So this is the timeline animation of the entire thing. Now we just need to bind it with our scroll. So for that, first we need some extra space to scroll onto. So what we'll do is we will grab an element with the data attribute of scroll spacer. Now, even though we haven't really created the component, I mean the element, we'll also check if you don't have any scroll spacer, it would early return it. And then here I will create a div and we'll give it a data scroll spacer. And then the height of it would be the height that we defined here, which is 400 viewport height. Now, when I save, you'll see that we have a lot of extra space here. Now you can scroll here. So this scroll spacer basically creates extra space. And now with this extra space, when you start scrolling, we want to trigger the different animation based off the scroll position. So inside of the timeline, we create a scroll trigger. The trigger for this would be the spacer. Start from the very top, end at the very bottom, which is the bottom of the screen and the bottom of the spacer. Scrub is 1.2. 1 basically means is that as you scroll, it basically animates at the same percent, but then 1.2 changes it a bit. And then when you save, let's refresh. And now when I start scrolling, you can see the animation happening. So that's it for this video. The source code as well as the live link is in the description, as well as the inspired site is also in the description. So if you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel because I bring in cool stuff like this every week. And yeah, videos like these take so much time to make. So I would really appreciate if you guys can share this video with your fellow developer friends and also comment down so that the video gets reached to wider ranges of audiences. That way it will help my channel grow. And yeah, that's it for this video. Meet you guys in the next. Till then, bye bye, take care, and peace.